postponed to the 13th of May so that he can join the other accused. And Your Worship, I submit by that time it would enable the legal representative for Mr. Matlala and the state to conclude the consultative processes. Your Worship, I therefore request that the matter be postponed to the 13th of May 2026. Your Worship, I also request for the court to order that Mr. Matlala remain at Kosi Mampuru so that it will enable us to finalize the consultative processes. Your Worship, as Your Worship is aware, on the previous occasion, Mr. Matlala was removed contrary to a court order. He was taken to Mbongweni, maximum security, and then it became a huge problem for the state. Also a very risky problem, Your Worship, as IDEC officials had to transport him and move him to Kosi Mampuru. So my request, Your Worship, is that he be kept at Kosi Mampuru until the consultations are finalized and we can decide what to do with the matter there onwards. I have been led to understand, Your Worship, that the legal representatives for Mr. Matlala are also bringing an application on the 28th of April for Mr. Matlala to be detained at Kosi Mampuru for purposes of the trial. Your Worship, that application will be ventilated in the High Court, but my request for this court, Your Worship, is for him to be kept at least until the 13th of May for the consultation processes to be concluded.
What is the attitude of correctional services to that?
Your Worship, thus far we have no objections.
Correctional services, what do they say about it?
Your Worship, in fact, this morning, Your Worship, there's been arrangements made that IDEC officials transport Mr. Matlala to court, and Correctional Services has been made aware of this, Your Worship, and there's been no objection. Otherwise, there would have been some sort of intervention. Your Worship, this matter will be fully ventilated in the High Court on the 28th of April. Papers, application documents, notice of motions, etc. have been served on the head of Correctional Services, and there we will learn once that application is heard.
Alleged criminal mastermind Vusimuzi Matlala is set to remain behind bars at Kosi Mampuru maximum security prison until the next month. Following a brief court appearance on Monday, Matlala appeared before the Pretoria Magistrate Court, where it was ruled that he will stay in custody at the Pretoria facility until May 13 to allow for further consultations with his legal team. The latest development comes after a controversial transfer earlier this year when Matlala was moved to a Bongweni Super Maximum Correctional Center. At the time, Correctional Services Minister Peter Groenewald maintained that officials had adhered to all standard operating procedures during the location. However, the move sparked pushback according to reports. Matlala was initially transferred from Kosi Mampuru on December 21, 2025 to the Gokstead facility, a decision he challenged in the Johannesburg High Court. He argued that the transfer made it difficult to consult effectively with his lawyers, ultimately seeking relief through the courts. Matlala is facing serious charges of fraud and corruption linked to controversial 360 million rand police tender awarded in 2024, a case that continues to draw significant public and legal scrutiny. Meanwhile, the crackdown of Vusimuzi Matlala by Gauteng Provincial Organised Crime Unit was a masterclass in modern digital forensics and meticulous surveillance. It all started on October 17, 2023 in Bryanston, Johannesburg, when gunmen in a silver grey VW caddy opened fire on a BMW belonging to Matlala's ex-girlfriend, actress Tebogo Tshobejane, wounding another person in the car. The shooters raced off but left a digital trail that investigators would eventually use to link the attack on Matlala. While the evidence is still to be ventilated in court, the Sunday Times publication exclusively revealed that the first major break came from analyzing CCTV footage that was shot on the day of the shooting at the Morningside Shopping Center, which showed the BMW. In an affidavit, Sergeant Ernest Sitole of the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit says the footage also showed a VW Caddy registration HV24DXGP. It turned out the plates were cloned, which was parked at the center for several hours the same days. The cameras captured two men getting out of the van and walking into the mall. Inside the mall, the men are seen buying Vodacom airtime from Woolworths with voucher number 2164677571. Musakekana was identified as the African male buying at Woolworths. The second man was identified as Chieko Floyd Mabusela, known as Danny. Sitole said Telkom was subpoenaed and the results thereof show that his cell number was at the crime scene in Bryanston at the time of the shooting on 17 October, as well as in Rivonia, where Tobijane had lunch that day, and Morningside Shopping Center. The caddy followed the BMW when it left the shopping center. Matlala, his wife, Tsakane Kekana Mabusela, and Zandile Tabiseng Zama faced 25 charges, including 11 counts of attempted murder, arising from 3 separate shooting incidents between August 2022 and January 2024. Other charges include money laundering and fraud. Mabusela and Kekana are also accused of the attempted murders of taxi boss Joe Ferrari Sibanyoni and DJ Fatis. The investigation gained significant momentum when Kekana was arrested for possession of a vehicle hijacked in April 2024. A digital forensic analyst downloaded the contents of his phone, revealing a mountain of incriminating WhatsApp messages and voice notes between him and Mabusela. These messages provided step-by-step timeline. The intent: on October 16, Mabusela sent a message asking, "So Tabaya the Grand," to which Kekana replied, "Be going, we'll follow her out and work." Targeting Tobijane later that day, Mabusela wrote, "Wish Tabaya Tobijane Espenach Aish," indicating his desire for the work regarding Tobijane to succeed. The surveillance on the morning of October 17, the pair discussed their arrival times at the restaurant to monitor who Tobijane was with and what car she was using. The execution: Kekana sent Mabusela a pin drop location of the Grand at 1:43 p.m. by late afternoon. They had apparently agreed to execute the attack at night. The most critical link to Matlala was a voice note sent by Mabusela to Kekana on October 12, 5 days before the shooting. In the message, Mabusela suggested calling Kat to ask for work so they could make money. Police matched the name Kat to Matlala, a director of Cat Protection and Security, CPS and Medicare 24, through witness statements and profiling. A subpoena of financial records revealed a pay-for-play sequence that mirrored the WhatsApp conversations. Initial payment on October 12th, the same day as the call Cat voice note, CPS transferred 20,000 rand into an account belonging to Mabusela's daughter. The payout on October 18, the day after the shooting, Matlala's company transferred an additional 100,000 rand to the same account. Both payments used the reference Medicare 24. Tobijane told police she had been in romantic relationship with Matlala. She alleged she had incriminating information against him, providing a motive for why he might want her eliminated. This, combined with the CCTV footage, the cell phone tower data, the WhatsApp exchanges, and the 120,000 rand financial trail, led to Matlala's arrest. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.